let's see how to create circle, or what are the options available to create the circle. The simple circle with center and radius. We have, for all these profiles, we can key the values or we can use the mouse. Let's have a center point, and then we have radius. The circle creates, and if you want to modify the circle diameter, here we have the option to represent the dimension value either in terms of diameter or in terms of radius. So here we can change it, the representation, radius or diameter, and we can modify the values. Let's change it to 25. And now to constrain the circle, either we can go with dimensions. Let's go with the dimension. So let's move this away and use the dimension. Select the center point and the horizontal axis, and we'll go one more dimension, center point and then vertical axis. So now the circle is fully constrained. This is one way to constrain. If there is no other element, either we can constrain this circle with this horizontal and vertical axis. Let's see how to constrain those. So we can use the coincidency command, and we'll check the line and pick here and use the coincidency button, and it's aligned to the horizontal axis. Now let's pick the vertical axis, select the constraint and make it constraint, and we can see the circle is fully constrained. There are different ways we can constrain the elements. As we go, we'll see the different ways to constrain the geometries. Now let's see. Now circle by 3 points. Select the 3-point circle, select the first point and the second point and third point. The circle is created, and let's go with circle using coordinates. Select the circle, and here we have to define the coordinate value for center point of the circle. And under center point we have two methods. One is Cartesian, the other one is polar method. First let's use the Cartesian method. Let's have minus 25 and then minus 40, and radius is 10 mm. Click OK. So the circle is created with the negative value, and let's go once again and use the polar method. In polar we have to give radius and angle. So let's give 75 radius and let's make positive angle. We'll give 60 and then click OK. So the result is created with 70 mm distance and then 60-degree angle. That creates center point. From there R10 circle is created. This is all about creating circle by polar method. Now let's see the third method, which has tritangent circle. For that we should have 3 circles, and let's move these circles somewhere outside. Now let's see how to create tritangent circle. For this we should have 3 elements, and let's check with this present circles, and it's asking the input. Select the geometry to create the tangent circle. Let's try with these 3 circles. Select the first circle and then second circle and third circle, which creates tangential to all these 3 elements. The input can be either circle, arc or line. We will get this result. Let's check with 3 lines. Select the line, start point, end point. We will have one more line, and then we will have final line. Now let's use tritangent circle, and we will use first element, second element, third element. So we'll get the circle based on the element which we have selected. This is all about creating a circle using tritangent method. Now let's see 3-point arc. So we have 3-point arc here. So let's select the icon, first point and then second point. So we can control the third point where we get the 3-point arc. Now let's see 3-point arc with limit. So what this does, select the 3-point arc with limit. So first point and then last point, and here we can control the radius by moving the cursor. This is the difference between 3-point arc and with limit. Here we are defining the limits of the arc and we are deciding the radius value. And the last one is just arc. So the arc helps us to start the point, center point. We are defining the radius first, then we are starting the start point, and then we are closing it end point. So these are the 3 ways we can create the arc. One is with 3-point arc, the other one is 3-point arc with the limit, and the final one is arc. This is all about creating a circle in different ways. I hope this session clears you how to create circle in the Sketcher workbench. Now let's see how to create spline in Sketcher. The option is spline. Select the spline. So in this case we don't have any points which is already available. So we can just place the cursor and we can start with that start point and the other point and third point. So based on the mouse click we can create the spline, and when we double click it ends with the spline ends. And if you want to modify, just double click on the spline and we can just drag the points and the result will change. This is the behavior of spline, and we can control the spline with the spline definition, and we can add, remove points or replace points. All can be done. And if we want to close the spline, here we have the option called close spline. So from the start point and the end point, the system closes automatically. So this was our start point and this was our end point. When you use close spline, the system computes or completes the spline, closing the rest of the piece. This is all about creating the spline. Now let's see how to create ellipse. So here we have ellipse command. Select the ellipse. Start point. First we have to define the major axis. Select the major axis, place the cursor, and then we have to define the minor axis. Either we can control using the mouse button or we can key the values here also. So let's place the minor axis. The ellipse created based on the major axis and minor axis. So inside ellipse we have 3 more options. We have parabola, hyperbola and conic. Let's see parabola by focus. Select the parabola, select a point or click to locate the focus. First we have to click the focus. From the focus we have to derive the apex of the parabola, and just make a click and then stop the parabola on the one side and drag to the other side and place it. So the parabola is created. These are the features available in the system. We may or may not use frequently in the real-time application, but it's good to know what is available in the tool. Now let's see how to create hyperbola. Select the hyperbola, and now same, we have to locate the focus. Select the focus and then we have to define the apex. After selecting the focus, we have to select the center. Select the center, let's place it approximately, and then close the hyperbola. So this is all about ellipse, hyperbola and parabola.